For those of you who have not met me, my name is Caitlin Gilbert. I'm the national organizer for PNHP. I'm very excited to be talking about Slack today. It's one of my favorite tools. It's a messaging system that you can have on your phone or your computer, and it really is a way to bring people across the country together to communicate. Now, our students are really great at Slack. They have a Snap national Slack channel that has worked exceptionally well for them. Folks from California to New York can communicate with each other, and it's worked pretty seamlessly thus far. And so I want to explain to you guys just some basics about Slack. I am in no means a Slack expert in the sense that I did not create Slack. There are probably some tricks of the trade that others know, but I can very well explain to you how to use Slack and get through it. So let's talk about Slack. I should have in an email shared with you all the join link for the PNHP leadership training, and I want to make sure that you all have that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that link in the chat right now. And as a point of note, I want you to know that you can share and save this chat by going to the chat sidebar, going to the bottom right hand above where you type your message, and click on the 3-dot square. From there, you can see an option that says Save Chat. You can save this, and then the link is saved to your computer and you can utilize it. Does anyone have any questions thus far? Okay, so that is the link to the Slack channel. If you don't already have an account with Slack, it will ask you to create an account, which is my first tip for you all, recommending that you use an email that isn't attached to your work. I know Slack will generally tell people to attach their login email to their work email because folks usually use it for their work. I recommend not doing that because this is for the separate leadership training and you might get a bunch of emails with notifications to your work email that you might not want. So now that you have that link, I'm hoping that you all have created your account, which is a pretty easy step-by-step process where they just ask for your email and your name. And from there, you can enter through that link. Has anyone tried to create an account before and had trouble, or do we all have a good sense of how to get through that? If you could type in the chat, yes or no. Yes, meaning that you have an account and that's all good. No, meaning, no, I do not have an account, would like some help. I'll wait. Okay. Great. Wonderful. Okay. Next, I'm going to tell you that Slack can be used on your mobile device or your desktop. I'm going to talk about the differences between the two and how one can be more beneficial than the other depending on your lifestyle and needs. So the desktop app, I would say, is a little bit easier to use in the sense that you can type and you're not having to use your phone and your thumbs to type out messages. It's also a little bit easier to bold things, to make lists. I know some people are very good at that on their phone. I know I struggle, and I grew up with cell phones. So if that's not something you're used to, I recommend using the desktop. Now, if you're somebody that wants to be constantly updated and wants to make sure you're not going to miss anything, I suggest using the mobile app. And I will say that you can use both desktop and mobile. That could overwhelm some people having messages constantly coming to both of their electronic devices in their home. The mobile app is really nice that it will give you alerts on your phone, though you can turn off those alerts in the settings section. The desktop can also give you alerts as well, and sometimes you'll get alerts to your email if you have missed a message. So you really, Doug, yes?
I'm not sure if you said it already, but I'm wondering, is it better to use the desktop app than the online login version?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. The online login version to me doesn't have as much of the capabilities as the app does. And I think the app just, its front facing use is a lot easier. Okay, so great question. So now from there, you can decide for yourself which of the applications you want to use. I happen to have both. However, some people may feel overwhelmed by that. And so you can decide on the desktop, which may have a little bit easier use when it comes to typing and those capabilities, or you can use the mobile if you're somebody that's always on the go and needs it to come with you wherever you go. So you've all expressed that you have accounts. And I will say creating an account is one of the easier processes of Slack. So I'm not going to go over that for the sake of not going over something we all know. So I'm going to talk about editing your profile and updating your preferences. And during this portion, I'm going to be sharing my screen with you all. So let's share screen. That's my master tracker. So here's Slack, and here is Slack. So this is the desktop application, which I think, like I said, I think the front facing is the user experience is a little bit better than through the website. So we're going to talk about editing your profile. So right now you're going to see that we're on the PNHP leadership training channel. You can see I'm a part of several channels, which is a great way to keep in contact with activists across the country. So when using Slack, you can update your profile by doing the following. I want you to go to the top right corner that says Caitlin, or your name, or whatever you wrote down for your login. And you're going to see a few options, and I'm going to go through those options and why they can be beneficial for you. So you can set yourself as a way. I would say that this function is more for people that utilize Slack for their workspace. So say you go on vacation and you want your colleagues to know that you're not going to be attending to your Slack messages, you can set yourself as a way, and that's a useful tool. Pausing notifications is something you can use if you're feeling especially overwhelmed by all of the updates. You can set a custom schedule, you can set a notification schedule, which is really nice. So let's say you're somebody that really works in buckets in life, right? So you say, I work from 9 to 5, and then from 5 to 7 is my activist bucket, and that's how I operate. And outside of that, I really don't want to touch it. You can set a notification schedule saying, okay, I'm only going to get notifications from the Slack channel at this time of day. And that's a way you can create space for yourself. Because as activists, it's really important that we avoid burnout. So if you feel too inundated with messages, this is something you can utilize. Below that is the edit profile section, which I'm going to go over now. And you're going to see this image pop up. It says edit your profile. You can put your name, a display name. And I really recommend updating this. I know it may seem silly. It may seem like something you do on Facebook just for fun, but it's really important, especially for the leadership training, because a key component of leadership training is to meet other activists around the country, to share ideas with one another, and to connect and build coalition across all PNHP channels. It's impossible to do that unless people know who you are and what you do, because it creates context for our future organizing. So I recommend putting your full name. You can put doctor, you can put RN, whatever your title is at work, you can put that as well, if that's important to you, or you can just put a nickname if you prefer to be called by a nickname, and most people know you by that. But right now I'm going to put my name is Caitlin Gilbert, and my display name that people see is Caitlin, National Organizer. Typing and talking at the same time is a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. What I do, so we're going to put National Organizer, so people can see in two places my function with the organization, and that can give them some context. If you so choose, you can put your phone number. I'm pretty upfront with my phone number, so activists can contact me. You can write this down. Feel free at any time if you have questions. You can give me a call. I respond to text. Just abide by the normal working hours if possible. I sleep at 11 p.m. I know some people don't, and that's wonderful for them. And you can also update your time zone. It should be automatically set to the time zone you're in. However, if it's not, you can update it here. Finally, you can upload an image. And you can really decide what you want to upload for your image based on kind of how you want to be front facing to this channel. So if you're somebody that really identifies with your chapter image, and you want to be associated and seen as the face or a face of that chapter, you can put your chapter logo there. You can also put a picture of your face. That's very helpful, or a picture of an action that you have been a part of to show your organizing prowess. But an identifier, so people can start to associate an image with who you are, will be really important. I'm always going to be a proponent of putting your face or your image there, but I want you to know that you have options in case that makes you uncomfortable. Now, one of my favorite logos that our media person Dixon created is going to be my photo, just because I really enjoy it. And you'll see that it doesn't quite fit, and that's okay. For the purposes of this meeting, I'm really just interested in showing you how you can update this. So now that's my profile image, and it will update there, and you can see PNHP and the word rage, which didn't plan for that to happen. It should say coverage, but maybe it was a Freudian slip. So we'll save those changes. So now you know how to update your profile, and I think that's a really helpful thing to do, because again, how we face to others is how we can interact and set context for our future organizing. You can view your profile if you feel like just seeing how it looks, but I'm going to go next to the preferences section because I think this is really important for people to know about.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course, Michael. Go ahead. You're on mute. I'm sorry. You're on mute.
For what we just did is the same on the mobile as the desktop or not?
It should be very close. So I'm going to pull up my mobile app right now, and I can show you in a little bit. Let me pull this up to my Slack. So at the bottom, there's going to be a section on your mobile app titled You. Let me stop screen sharing for 1 second. Okay. So you're going to see on your mobile app here, I know it's going to be kind of hard to see my screen, but there's a section at the bottom right titled You. You'll click on that and you'll see the same options available to you. And you may be wondering, why is this image different than the one I just did? Based on the Slack channel you're a part of, you can change what image you use based on the context of how you're organizing. So for my students, I have a picture of them organizing as my profile picture because I want them to know how important they are to me and how proud I am of them. Okay, so I'm going to go back to screen. Michael, did that answer your question? You're on mute again. Still on mute, I'm sorry.
The other question is, how do I know if I got, this sounds like a silly question. How do I know if I downloaded the app for the desktop or I am using the online that they talked about? What's the difference?
Mm-hmm. So this will be a separate part of your computer. So do you mind if I go back to screen sharing and I can show you how it looks on my computer?
That's fine.
Okay. And that's not a silly question. Okay. So I'm screen sharing right now. This is the profile section. So you'll see on my desktop, there's a section here. I'm scrolling through, you see camera, you see my apps. And now you're going to see, I'm going to get to S for Slack, and there should be a folder where I can open the Slack app. So that's what you want to be opening, as opposed to going into your web browser, which will usually be on your computer. That's my family, sorry. It will be on your computer and you'll be going to your preferred web browser like Google Chrome.
You're freezing. We don't have your sound right now.
Do I sound okay now?
Yes.
Okay. It might have been because I was clicking several things. Thank you for your patience.
Actually, your sound has been troublesome the whole time. It sounds like it fades in and out, like you're just on the edge of freezing.
Okay. Let me turn up my microphone here. Okay. I apologize. This is the fun part of working with the internet for the past year. Thank you all for your patience. If you feel like at any point of this meeting, you're not able to understand what I said enough to fully grasp the concept, I'd be happy to set up a phone call with you and we can go over it again. But let's get through the rest of this. And if there's any point where you want to stop me because I freeze again, you all can feel free to take yourselves off of mute and let me know. Does that work? Okay, awesome. So here we are, we're at the Slack and we're going to be updating our preferences. So looking at this, you can see that there's a lot of things you're in control of. And I know sometimes when we're working through applications or the internet or social media, it feels like we're not in control, right? I say one thing about wanting a new couch and Google knows right away and is continuing to give me ads. But you can certainly have a lot of control when it comes to Slack. So one thing that you can update that I think is really important is being updated about notifications. So you can choose to be updated about all new messages in this channel. You can choose to be updated about direct messages. And a direct message is when an activist emails you, or not emails you, messages you through the option called direct messages, which I'm going to show you is in this section right here that I'm circling. Or you can choose to not have any notifications. You can also choose to be updated via a keyword. So if someone is mentioning, say, global budgets, and you're somebody that loves to hear about global budgets, discuss that, you can put the keyword here, global budgets. And put the keyword there. Again, you can update your schedule as to when you want to be updated. You can update your sounds. You can update how often you should get those messages. I want you to know you can also update the language, which is incredibly helpful if you're somebody that feels more comfortable speaking in any of these listed languages. You can also update how zoomed in you are, which I know can be very helpful for folks that struggle with vision. So you can update to saying 150%, and you can see how big that got. Or you can make it really tiny if you're somebody that likes it to be tiny. I choose to operate on 100% or the default, but you should feel free to update any one of those. I'm going to let you kind of explore the rest of the preferences on your own. I just want you to know how to get there and point out some key parts about that. I mean, these are just kind of fun if you like different colors, but the rest is for you to explore. So now we're going to talk about formatting messages and best practices when it comes to messages. But I want to give people a chance to ask any questions right now. Do we have any questions? And can you still hear me?
Yes, we can still hear you. At least I can.
Okay. Wonderful. Great. So let's talk about messages and formatting, because that's the bulk of what we want to accomplish through Slack, right? So now we set our profile, we set our preferences, but now it's about chatting with each other and forming these relationships. So you're going to see on the left of my screen, there's a bunch of channels. And all of these channels are really important to pay attention to, because you will be needing to message people based on what the channel discusses. So what do I mean by that? Let's say that you were watching our pre-recorded section about building relationships with elected officials, and you want to start a discussion on that channel because you want to ask activists a question about something Dr. Fagan talked on in her presentation. You're going to click on that channel and you're going to see you're in the channel now. And you're going to type your message in this bottom row. And you're going to see you're going to have a lot of options on how to type here at the bottom. Those are very important because that will help you format your message. The hard thing about Slack, especially when it's on the mobile app, is it can sometimes feel like a texting device. And to a certain extent it is, right? We can write really quick messages and easy messages to each other. You can use short acronyms like LOL or, little pictures or emojis. But Slack is also in this in-between space where it's almost like an email, in the sense that it's really important to produce and send tailored messages that look good and are easy to read. So we don't want to be sending short little messages to people that don't really have any substance, because remember, people are going to be getting alerts every time you write a message, unless they change their preferences, but always go in with the assumption that everyone's going to get every message, because that's the default setting on Slack. So we're going to use the 2021 PNHP virtual leadership training. And I'm going to write a message and show you how to format a message that is tailored. And then I'm going to talk about responding to people in messages. And Doug, I see you already wrote there. So Michael, I'm hoping you're a part of this channel as well. I think you're not yet, but feel free to click on the link and add yourself whenever. There might be more people here. So I'm going to write a message about the leadership training, and I want to show you how to format and then the best practices for that. So let me write my little message, and I'm going to be silent because, as I've learned, talking and typing at the same time is impossible. Okay, so I wrote the message, and I'm going to show you how you don't want this message to look. Okay, and yeah, that seems bad enough. Okay, so as you can see, this might fly if you're simply texting someone really quickly, hey, I'm going to the grocery store, I need bread. And you just need to get your message across. It doesn't need to be perfect or polite or even legible. The other person across the aisle kind of knows what you're talking about. Does anyone else do that with their partner or spouse or friend, where you say, get that thing, and they know what you mean by thing, but no one else would know? That's what we want to avoid on Slack. So let's talk about how we're going to fix this message. First, let's talk about what's good. This message has all the information I kind of want to express, and it's not too short, and it has substance to it. So what I mean by that is I'm not coming in and talking about my cat in a channel that no one needs to hear about my cat. It has complete information with somewhere to email me or links, depending on what I'm talking about. And it has a next step because that's important to my message. You can write shorter messages. Doug, you did a great job introducing yourself. That's great, especially when we're trying to build connections. You can ask questions. Really, when you're writing a message, it's important to think about the intent, like an email. So let's fix this message first by putting in some spaces. It's okay that I addressed everyone because I really am addressing everyone. But let's say I wanted to address just Doug. I can write the symbol @ which is going to be on your number 2 key. And you're going to hit Shift @. And then you're going to see I have a list of people I can message directly if I want them to get a direct notification that I'm talking to them. This is a great way to, if there's a long discussion about, let's say, global budgets, and you want to address something that somebody said 6 messages ago, you can write the @ symbol and then their name, and that's a way to say, hey, I'm addressing what you said here, and asking a question or making a comment. When you write @channel, it notifies everyone in the channel. It can be useful if you want to double make sure that people are getting your message. But really, if you're writing in the channel, people are going to be looking anyway. So, and then here's pretty self-explanatory. Only people that are online are going to get that message. But right now, I'm addressing everyone, and I don't feel the need to write @channel. So right now, we're going over best practices for the 2021 PNHP Virtual Leadership Training Slack channel, please. Well, we need a period there, space. And please feel free to email me if you would like to rewatch this training. Okay, great. So let's make this look a little bit better. I'm going to press Shift Enter. When you press Shift Enter, you can put in a space on that message. Because if you hit Enter, it's going to send the message. So Shift Enter, you put in a space, and that allows the sentences to be broken up. And it's just a little bit easier to read. Next, I recommend bolding or highlighting anything that you think is important for people to know. So I'm going to bold this last section to let people know, hey, please let me know if you want to rewatch this training. You can use block quotes, bolded list, numbers. You can insert links. It's really, really a great system, and it's like writing in Microsoft Word. Really, it's very nice.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, Doug.
I often have the problem where I hit the enter on whatever system I'm using, and it sends the message when I didn't mean to do that. I meant to be moving down a line. Is there a way to go backwards to retrieve the message and edit it so it makes sense?
Yeah, let's do that right now. So let's say I made this mistake. I'm going to click enter. Okay, oh, whoops. My daughter got on my keyboard and typed everybody some random jargon. So we're going to go to more options here. So you're going to see, I'm just putting my cursor over this. We're going to go to more actions, and we're going to go to edit message. And here, oh, sorry about that, guys. We can save those changes, and there you go.
So that goes to everybody on who you were sending the message to. They'll have an updated message then in their Slack.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Okay.
You can also delete the message if you want, and that's an option as well.
Great.
So now we're going to talk about responding to messages, because I think a lot of us are going to be responding to messages at this leadership training, right? We're going to be asking questions, chatting with each other, acting in agreement. saying, got it, I heard you. There are best practices on how to operate with this as well. I know it may seem silly, but there's a culture to Slack, and we're all going to learn it today. So I think it's really important. So you can see here that everyone got this message. That's great. Let's say you're somebody that wants to say, awesome, thanks for doing that, or cool, that looks great. I recommend not responding to this message that way. And you can respond to messages by scrolling over, seeing you can reply in thread, and you can choose to respond to me and say thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. However, I recommend you use reactions, which are little emojis similar to texting, where you can send little pictures to people. And that's a little bit better way to respond if you're just saying, okay, or thank you, or got it. Because remember, every time you message me, I'm going to get a notification. And if you can see how many Slack channels I'm a part of, I also have 2 emails for PNHP and other texting applications and text messages and everything. So it can be too much, it's overwhelming. So let's say you just want to say, good on you. I recommend using any one of these symbols. Thumbs up is one of my favorites. It's pretty clear. Awesome. There. You're going to see that I'm going to get a little message there. I don't really get, you don't get updates on emojis, which is a benefit of them. I can just see if I go back to this message to see if anyone responded, that you clicked with a thumbs up saying, cool, got it. That lets me know that you understand what I'm saying. The completed check is more for tasks. So let's say I say, hello, everyone, please email me your favorite colors so I can send you a card with your favorite color. By clicking completed, you can let me know that you did it. And that indicates to me, okay, they did it. I should be checking my email for their favorite color. Taking a look is also pretty self-explanatory. If I say, I sent you an email asking for your favorite color, you can respond with taking a look. And I can see, okay, they're going to look at it. All of these symbols are best to use instead of typing out that word, because typing to me, taking a look, it's going to give me an alert and an email, kind of letting me know, oh, I'm looking at it. Well, that does really nothing for me unless you responded to the email and did it. So again, emojis, they're great. They're very useful. And I think it's a part of best practice that many folks should know. You can save this if you want to. I don't really think that'll be an important tool for folks to use. So, okay, that's how we're responding to messages. We know how to write messages. We know best practice. Now we're going to talk about inclusive language, etc. So it's really important that the Slack channel is inclusive, accommodating, accessible, and safe. So any language that is harmful to any group is going to be deleted by the administrator, me, and I'm also not doing a 3 strikes policy. I'm doing a 1 strike, you're out policy. So any sort of language that's harmful or hurtful, we're going to do 3 strikes out. Blatant language like that has no place here. We're opening dialogue and conversations that can sometimes get heated and harmful. Let's say we're talking about state single payer plans, and somebody says, I really like state single payer plans. And somebody else says, I think they're stupid. I don't like state single payer plans. First of all, I don't think stupid is really a word any adult should use to describe anything. You can have a discussion about the merits or not merits of something. But if we come into a conflict like this, I recommend using oops and ouch language to communicate with each other so that while we're having these heated discussions, if they ever happen, we can maintain decorum and adult conversation. So let's say what I just typed here, it offended you. You felt hurt by it, you felt harmed by it. One way you can indicate to me that that's how you feel. You can private message me down here if you feel the need, or you can message this thread right away and write ouch. Okay, by writing ouch, and I'm not going to type that to hit enter so no one gets a notification, but by typing out the word ouch, you're letting me know maybe you should go back, look at the message you sent, reevaluate the language you used. Okay, when you type ouch, I'm going to get the notification and say, oh my gosh, when I typed it, I didn't even think that saying virtual leadership training was wrong. I'm going to repair what I said. I can type back to you, oops, repaired it. Thank you for letting me know. By saying oops and ouch, it's a way to keep the dialogue open, but a set language we can use so that we're not typing out of our emotions. Because I know if someone says oops to you or oops to you, you may feel defensive. I didn't say wrong. Well, or when someone types ouch to you, but when you say oops, you're acknowledging what they said and you repair what you said and move forward and not put your emotions into that response. So that's the oops and ouch language we want to use. Again, there's a one strike policy on harmful language, but I recognize that dialogue can sometimes get heated, and now we have a language that we can use with each other so that we can keep things flowing in an adult manner. So that was my last point of note for utilizing Slack. Again, I'm keeping it really simple for today. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I am now going to open up the floor for any further questions, comments, or concerns. And to fully listen to your question, I'm going to put myself on mute, and I'll take myself off of mute when I'm responding.
You said I should have my name over there someplace. When should I have done that, and how do I do that?
Did you click on the join Slack link that I had sent? Have you joined this channel yet?
Did I click on the join? Say that again, please.
Yeah, of course, the join Slack link. So I'm going to copy it and paste it again. There you go. That is a way you can join the channel. Let me double check.
Where should that be showing up? In chat?
In chat, correct. Okay.
I got me to everyone, but I guess I thought it would identify me, but it didn't. So I have chat open, and so I just go down to everyone and type in my name and email address. Is that what you're saying?
No. So in the chat, you're going to see at the bottom, there's going to be a message from me.
New message.
Yes, and it's a link. And that link is going to lead you to joining the Slack channel. And what I mentioned was I wasn't seeing your name on the Slack channel, indicating to me that you had joined the virtual leadership training channel.
So I just click this URL and it should give me a place to put in the information or something.
Absolutely. Yep, it should add you to the workstation.
Yeah. And so name and working email. Okay. Yep. I will do that.
Awesome.
Or try to.
Are there any other questions about Slack? Practices, using it? Awesome. Well, very straightforward day. Thank you for joining me today. I imagine I've said some things that many of you already know, so I appreciate you sitting tight through the things that you know. and hopefully learning something new. And I look forward to us being able to utilize the Slack channel for our leadership training and beyond, so we can communicate with each other, ask questions, answer prompts, and build coalition. Every day you should be getting an email the week of the leadership training with a link to the video of the day, as well as questions that you can answer in the Slack channel. Please participate. We do it so that we can open dialogue, get people talking, and it's a fun, almost seminar style way of interacting with each other when we can't be together right now. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I know we have a ways to go. Thank you everyone for being on today. I'm going to type in my email into the chat section. Feel free to email me any questions. You saw I put my phone number there before. And please join the Slack channel, and I look forward to seeing you all at the leadership training. Thank you.